It's the Arch Advocate Show. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine Thursday. I hope you had a happy Halloween. Got lots of candy. Hey, listen, old Petey the word snob is back. Let me explain a little bit about linguistics here for you. Whenever somebody starts off a sentence with, "Oh, I'm not trying to be offensive, but," your ears need to perk up because you're about to hear something that's horribly offensive, and the person saying it knows it. Whenever somebody starts off a sentence with, "Listen, I'm not a racist, but," it's like, dude, you're about to say something horribly racist, right? Anytime a professional athlete, right, like a beloved professional athlete, moves from their city where they play and they are loved by that community, whenever they leave and say, "Well, I'm not leaving for the money," what that means is that it's about one thing and one thing only: the money. That's courtesy of Jim Rome, right? When that it's rhetoric, right? Now those are very simple concepts that I just broke down. Like everybody knows that internally. Not everybody has articulated that, but somewhere deep down, like we know, right? That there's rhetoric at play. Oh, I'm not a racist, but it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. What horrible thing are you about to say? Listen, I just want to tell the people of San Diego, like Junior Seau, before he died, before he killed himself. I'm moving to New England, but it's not about the money. It's like, dude, it's about one thing. It's about the money. All right? You can't make any more money in San Diego. New England is willing to pay you. Off you go for the money. All right? Like, don't hide it. Like, don't try to butter it up. If you're leaving for the money, then just say it, right? If you're about to make a racist statement, it's like, just say it, right? Like, you trying to butter me up is not going to ease the blow. You know what I mean? You're about to say something horribly racist. You might as well just get it over with or shut your mouth, right? Don't tell me it's not about the money. Just move to the city, get your money, but don't stand there and tell me like it ain't about the money. Of course, it's about the money. I don't mean to be offensive. Yes, you do. You have full control over the words that are coming out of your mouth. You do mean to be offensive. Just say it and offend me. Or keep your damn mouth shut. It's real simple. They're your words. It's your mouth. Do one or the other. Right? This thing that happened, what was it, yesterday with Don Lemon, absolutely, the young Turks absolutely got cucked by this, right? Now, cucked is when somebody bangs your wife and makes you watch, right? That's what cucked means, cuckolded, right? Now that's it's a funny word. It's a word that I didn't even know existed up until just like the last couple of years. That was something that's like a new term. I never heard that before, being cuckolded. And the Young Turks get completely cuckolded and they fall for it in today's episode. And then we're going to get into the more metaphysical aspects of how the media is trying to screw everybody and make everybody watch. It's really perverted, but it's even more perverse when people buy into it and dive into it. So here's Don Lemon. Now listen, rhetoric, right? It's very important. Your words are very, very important. Your first and primary form of currency is language. I had some liberal arguing with me about this. Like, okay, well maybe we went to two different colleges. I don't know, but your first and primary, when I studied economics, like this is Econ 101. Your first form of currency is language. If you cannot speak the language, then you cannot participate in commerce. First, you have to have the language. You have to be able to negotiate, right? So language, as a commodity trader and as a salesman, like somebody who had to study the art of persuasion, right? Because when you're trying to convince people to send you hundreds of thousands of dollars on a 2-day, futures play in the market, it's like, you better be persuasive. So you better learn how to be persuasive and read books about rhetoric and about persuasion and about what makes people tick. Right? So rhetoric is very important to me. And it's something that, like, when I see certain things, it's I have a tendency to forget that other people can't see it because they didn't study rhetoric, right? They studied plumbing, or they studied medicine, or they studied astrophysics, or whatever, you know? I studied rhetoric. I continue to study rhetoric. I study persuasion, right? The art of communicating. These are the things I study. So let's watch very closely as Don Lemon basically starts off his sentence with, like, I don't mean to be racist, but here we go.
So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right, to the right.
Now, did you catch that? What we have to do, people, is stop demonizing people and realize that white people are demons. Here, let's watch it again.
So we have to stop demonizing people and...
I'm with you so far, Don Lemon. Sounds good. I could not possibly agree more. Yes, we need to stop demonizing people. Go on.
Realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men.
Wow! White men.
Radicalized right, to the right.
And they're conservative people. Now listen, I don't know how to say this because I don't know these days what is considered politically correct. But Don Lemon is I believe the politically correct term these days is butt pirate. Is that right? Or is it fudge packer? I can't remember. Anyways, he's one of those fellas who smokes pole and bites down on pillows. I don't know which one of those is the politically correct. I don't know what the rules change so frequently. I can't keep up. Don Lemon has a boyfriend who is a white dude, right? I'm assuming that the white dude is the top. He's the one who was doing the packing of said fudge. Anyways, so this guy who has a white lover is saying that white people are the problem. Right? Now, this is hilarious because it's in one sentence he's saying we got to stop demonizing people, right? Donald Trump needs to tone down the rhetoric. Okay, I'm with you there, right? Like there's some, like Ben Shapiro says, there's good Trump, bad Trump, right? Donald Trump says some things that are absolutely profound and dead on accurate. And then sometimes he says things that it's just like, whoa, like that thing, when, after the Charlottesville thing, and he said, well, there's good people on both sides. It's like, yeah, like I can see how that's a mistake on your part, but on the other hand, it's like you're the president of the United States, so you kind of need to watch your mouth a little bit more than I do. I can say something like that, right? Because anybody who's going to hear me can write to me and I will read that email. They can contact me on the Telegram page, right? All of you people listening, I'm accessible. Like if you want to talk to me, like I will get your Skype address and we can talk. I've had several conversations with the listeners, personal conversations, like not conversations for this show, but just, hey, I've got this idea. What do you think I should do with it? That sort of thing. And I love those conversations, but my point is like, it's different if I say it because I can, if I say something stupid, you can correct me personally. The difference between myself and the President of the United States is I cannot get a hold of him and say, hey, Mr. President, come on. Look, what did you mean by that? Like, did you really mean that you think that some of those people that were carrying tiki torches or, running, that dude who ran his car into those people, are you saying that the people in that group, like there's some good people in that group? Because, when you say that, it almost sounds like you're saying that there's something good about, people walking down the street saying Jews will not replace us. You know what I mean? So that is the difference, right? But the difference is not in what was actually said. I could say that. I can say, like at Charlottesville, sure, there were good people on both sides. And then if you call me out on that, I'm going to say, well, of course I don't mean, the people that are screaming Jews will not replace us. Of course I don't mean them, and I can explain that to you. The problem is it's not so much what Donald Trump says, it's the fact that we cannot have an open dialogue. We can't sit him down on TV and say, now, Mr. President, what exactly did you mean by that? Right? So there are some things that Donald Trump says, like the thing with Putin, I understood what he said when he said, like, oh, I don't think these guys attacked us. I understand his need to be congenial with another leader of the world. Like, I understand that he needs to watch his words a little bit closer than I do, right? But you see what I'm saying? Like, I could say that, and if you wanted to call me out on it, you could. I cannot call the president out, nor can anybody else. So when Don Lemon says, hey, we need to tone down the rhetoric and stop demonizing people, it's like, yes. I would like to see Donald Trump walk into the press secretary's room there, where they have Jim Acosta and all those people, the place where what's her name works, Sarah Sanders, Huckabee Sanders, whatever, that room where she works. Like, I would like to see the president walk in and just say, hey, listen, Jim Acosta, I tell you what, how about we just bury the hatchet, let it all be gone, let's start over fresh. Now, when you say things that aren't true are false. They're fake. And when you put it on the news, that becomes fake news, and I would appreciate it if you ran things by me first before you go out there and spread a bunch of bullshit. Right? I would like to see more civility, particularly like as it applies to Jim Acosta and the press. Right? There's a part of me about Donald Trump as he attacks the press in the United States with his rhetoric. He's not calling for violence, mind you, but he calls them out for being fake news. I do like that because I believe with all my heart, all of it, it's all, 99% of it is fake, right? CNN, MSNBC, and all of their parent companies, they all use the exact same words. That's by design. There's no possible way that they're all saying the exact same words, unless they're all in on it. The same is true for Fox News and everybody that's under Sinclair. Like, a lot of times, you'll hear Sean Hannity or some of these other people, like, they all repeat, like, the same things. I don't appreciate that. That's fake to me. Don't do that, right? You want to take a page out of, it's like, go over to Tucker Carlson. Now listen, I've said this a number of times. There's some times when Tucker Carlson says things when he's arguing with people, and it's like, oh, Tucker, no, that's not, that you should not have taken the argument. If you're going to try to make your point, you should not take the argument in that direction. It's a loser. I would not have done that, But the thing is like, that guy's just telling you, what the news is and what happened, and like he'll bring in constitutional people, he'll bring on liberals, and he'll say, okay, well, let's figure it out. The problem, my biggest problem that I have though, and this is why I go back to what I said. Let me correct my correction. It is all fake, because even when it comes to Tucker Carlson, it's like, look, you have an hour-long show. Right? And you have to run, in an hour, I think you have to run, 16 minutes of commercials. Right? So you don't want to lose your audience, so you have to break it up into 4 different commercial breaks. Right? So that's 4 minutes of commercials every 25 minutes. Right? So you bring somebody on and you do your monologue leading up to what it is that you're going to talk about. Right. Well, there's 7 minutes there, and then you bring in your friend who's there is gonna talk to you, and you have to do 2 segments in that 25 minutes. So, when your opponent finally sits down, you've got maybe 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes for you and that person to argue before you have to hit that commercial break. And you do have to hit that commercial break because you are beholden to your sponsors. Your sponsors are Ford. Your sponsors are Pepsi. Your sponsors are Nike and Adidas and Viagra and Ambien and all these people, like big drug, like the people that you are beholden to, your sponsors, your clients, the people who actually pay you, you can't screw with those people. Because if you piss those people off and they walk out the door, baby, they are never coming back. So you have to hit your commercial break. And there's no way that you're going to bring on, take some lefty lunatic like Paul Krugman, the economist, who I've been watching his work the whole time. Sometimes he's like a blind squirrel. Like sometimes he gets a nut, but he says some really ridiculous things. But it's like, hey man, he's an economist, he's earned that title. I don't agree with everything he says, but I certainly am not going to disagree with the fact that he is an economist. And if you want to argue with that guy, you're going to need at least an uninterrupted hour. Like a format like Ben Shapiro's show or what's that guy's name? The other gay dude that's to the right. The guy that says, I agree with that. Oh, God help me, I can't remember. But you know what I mean? Like you have to have a sit down with those people. And if you give me 7 minutes, then it doesn't matter what I learn. It's not going to be a complete representation of what that person thinks. It can't be. Therefore, it's fake news. It's all fake, right? Now, I still listen to Tucker Carlson because, I like him. Perfect example. I refuse to watch Sean Hannity on Fox News. I can't stand him on that. He's bitter. He's hateful. It was after September 11th, right? Those 3 years after September 11th, man. We were watching Fox News all the time. Till I realized, like, man, they're just kind of filling people full of hate. And I don't like that. I don't like feeling full of hate. I have to turn this off. So I cannot watch Sean Hannity on Fox News. Now let me continue this statement. I can listen to Sean Hannity's radio program. And you know why? Because it's like 3 hours long. He has all the time in the world. So he's calm. He doesn't have, he doesn't need to, he's not as beholden to the clock. And the clock is like when you have to go to commercial. He's not as beholden to that. So he's way more relaxed. He's way more thoughtful and articulate. And when he has opponents, people who disagree with him, either calling in or sitting in his studio, he's a completely different person. Completely different. Why? Because he has the time to be. Right? That's more real. It's like, dude, like these people that I disagree with, it's like, look, I feel very passionately about trying to get you to change your mind. Because I believe that I'm right. And that person on the other end, they're on the other side saying the exact same thing. They're thinking, I'm very passionate about what I believe. I believe I'm right, and I need to change your mind. The only way to do that is to establish friendship, establish trust. Otherwise, it's like, F you, I don't care if you change your mind or not. I'm willing to die for what I believe in. I hope you are too, because because it's looking like you're getting awful close to that. That is not a functional way to run a society. You have to remain civil, right? Like abortion, for example. It's like these people that come to me and they're like, well, I think abortion should be legal. It's like, okay, hold on. Let's break this down really quick. I need to know what your premise is. Do you believe that it's a woman's rights issue? Yes, I do. Okay, is it solely, does it all hinge on whether or not it is a woman's right? Yes, I do, or no, I don't. I believe, because the other side of it could be, well, I believe, no, that this is a medical thing, right? That everybody has the right to heal their body in any way that they see fit. And, when it comes to ladies who have diabetes, pregnancy can kill them. If it's a pregnancy that's going wrong, and that that the baby's not going to make it, and it's endangering the life of the mother. It's like, okay, well then that's a medical argument, and I'm not aware of any other arguments. There's either it's a woman's rights thing or it's a medical thing. If you guys can think of another argument that's out there as a premise for abortion, I believe that there's only two premises that the lefties come from, and that's women's rights or medical. And I very rarely hear leftists come at it from a medical standpoint. And the reason, and there's good reason that they don't, is because the number of people who need abortions because the mother is diabetic, or because the pregnancy has gone wrong and the baby isn't going to make it anyways, and it's endangering the life of the mother, it's like 0.0001% of all abortions. That's why they won't make the medical argument. So they'll come with the, well, it's a woman's rights issue. It's like, okay, all right. Now we know where the argument needs to be, where the battle needs to be. We're going to battle over is whether or not this is a woman's right. Fair enough. I am a sovereign human being, right? I worship a sovereign God. I was made in the image of God. One of the things that I was given upon my very first breath was sovereignty over my own decisions. I am free to decide whatever I want to do. That's what sovereignty is. It means I'm free to do whatever I want to do because God gave me that ability to make that choice. And so if you say it's a woman's right issue, it's like, okay, so you're saying it is a individual sovereignty question, right? Okay. Then, as it is that a full-term pregnancy is 280 days long, are you saying that and then you show them a video, because there's actual video, not assimilated video, but there's actual video of what happens when a baby is aborted. And some of them are pretty graphic because they're later in their term. And you make them watch that video and you say, are you saying that on day 279 that you believe that it is a woman's right, because she's a woman, because that baby is residing in her body, that it is okay for her, and in fact not okay, but it is her right, her God-given or evolutionary given right to have that baby torn apart in that fashion, seeing what you can see. And that creates a very interesting argument for the leftist, because they know that there's only one of two answers possible, and that's yes or no. And if you say yes, right? If you say yes, then you know for a fact that you are outing yourself as a monster. So you certainly can't do that. But you can't say no either, because then you're not true form to the left. And because of that conundrum, as they sit there and they ponder, because you've set that question up in such a way that it's like, okay, the next word out of your mouth has to either be yes or it has to be no. I don't want to hear any other words out of I need to know where you're coming from if we're going to continue on in this debate. Yes or no? Is it a woman's right to do that on day 279? And when they say no, but blah, 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 clump of cells, first trimester, it's like, well, okay, hold on. Then you're admitting that it's not a woman's right issue. And now you've painted yourself into a corner. Check and mate, and now that person has to go home and think about what they just did. They have to think to themselves, perhaps I don't truly believe these things that I've been repeating. You know what I mean? That's how you get people to change their minds, is you get them to think about it. You get them to think about it as if it was their own idea. You see what I'm saying? That's the power of rhetoric. That's the power of the art of persuasion. And most of it's very simple. It all has to do with framing, how you frame it, right? You build a little house and you let the people come in. And how you frame that house is going to direct what they think, right? So when people come to me, right, like I had Liberal Sam on and he was saying, oh, but don't you know that there's still women in America dying from coat hanger back, back alley abortions? It's like, no, I've never heard that before. You're going to have to show me some statistics, and you're going to have to show me some research and where that research came from. But I can assure you that as soon as you do show me that research, I'm going to have some very serious questions for you about who these people are and why it is that they didn't go down to their local Planned Parenthood or their local hospital where they perform abortions or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, who are these people? Are they not terribly bright? I mean, why would you know what I mean? What I'm saying is that when people come at you, they're going to try to frame the argument as an emotional thing. They're trying to get you to make decisions based on emotions. And it's like, dude, we can't do that. We can't, you can try to get me to do it, but I'm not going to participate. I don't make decisions that way. I make my decisions based on fact and reason. I make my decisions based on precedent and information. What I don't do is make my decisions based on emotion. Because if I did, I would have left my wife and child, an unborn child already. Oh, this is hard work, man. Being married is hard work. I feel very a certain way about this. I'm just going to leave. Well, that's making decisions from an emotional standpoint. Guess what? Just like in that example, all decisions made out of emotion are bad. Oh, I'm going to marry this girl because she's hot. And she likes to screw. Ooh, bad decision, brother. Ooh, this is not going to end well for you. Right? Oh, I want to buy this car because it's red and it's loud and it goes really fast. Bad decision. Well, I want to buy this 72-inch plasma screen because my buddy just got one. Bad decision. Bad decision, folks. And speaking of financial decisions, listen. Do you want to be rich? You want to be rich? And as you know, I give absolutely dead-on balls accurate financial advice all the time, right? A lot of my listeners are now multi-millionaires because of all the calls that I made about the cryptocurrency market. Just kidding. As we know that there are only two surefire ways to get rich in America, or in the Western world, pretty much for that matter. You can either accuse a Supreme Court Justice nominee of raping you 37 years ago, in which case you will get $1 million and a book deal. That's one way, right? But the other way is real estate. That's right, real estate. Real estate, in my mind, is pretty much the only true investment, because the further away that you get from real estate, the more you're really just speculating, right? You get into stocks, you're a little further away. You get into futures and options, you're pretty far away. The next thing you know, you're at the dog track, right? You're gambling. There's a new book, the title is called Real Estate: Using Real Estate to Create Passive Income and Achieve Financial Freedom. Now, this book is by David Nelson. He's one of the listeners of this show, and he is offering this book for free up until this Friday. That's tomorrow. So depending on what time zone you're in, I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. But today and tomorrow, you can download this book for free on Amazon. And this book will be on my website, the Arch Advocate, arch-advocate.com. You can click on that link and you can download it for free. And there's a few things in here. It goes over rental property, cash flow, accounting, law, real estate law. Okay, that's a big component in there. Managing tenants, all right? Managing tenants, a lot of people don't think about that. That's a huge variable, right? You go out, you buy a condo, say you paid $200,000 for it, and you bought it so that you could rent it out to other people. And some people show up and they look nice and they're dressed well and they're educated and they have a couple of kids of their own. It looks good, but you don't know. These might be some crazy meth heads. You never know. Managing tenants is a huge part if you're going to have rental property. So anytime there's a book about how to successfully invest in real estate, I recommend that you pick this up. Go to archavocate.com, click on the Amazon link, real estate. Using real estate to create passive income and achieve financial freedom. All right, now let's take a look one last time, take a listen to what Don Lemon actually said, and then we're going to put it into a little bit of context here, all right? And then we're going to get to how the young Turks totally got cucked by this, because they fell for it. Let's watch one more time.
So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
Stop demonizing people, and white people who are conservatives are evil. Here's Maxine Waters. If you want to know, if you want to get into rhetoric, and the importance of like watching your mouth, watching what you say. Yes, Donald Trump has said some things that aren't great, in my opinion, but it certainly wasn't this.
We want it done now. We're going to insist on it. If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Already, you have members of your cabinet that have been booed out of restaurants. Who have protesters taking up at their house.
At their house.
Saying no peace, no sleep.
No peace, no sleep.
No peace, no sleep. And guess what? We're going to win this battle because while you try and quote the Bible, Jeff Sessions and others, you really don't know the Bible. God is on our side.
God is on our side. Woo! So the left loves God now. That's just adorable. And then we have the case of one Hillary Rodham Clinton.
You cannot be civil a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and/or the Senate, that's when civility can start again.
So Don Lemon said something on TV the other day that enraged the right wing. Surprise, surprise. Okay, they're easily triggered. So we're going to show you what Don Lemon said, and then we're going to show you that it is true, and then we're going to try to find a safe space for conservatives who are triggered by it. So let's watch.
I keep trying to point out to people not to demonize any one group or any one ethnicity, but we keep thinking that the biggest terror threat is something else. Some people who are marching, towards the border like it's imminent. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
Now, I don't know if you can catch this or not, but what Chunk Yogurt is doing there is he knows what he heard, right? Chunk Yogurt is not stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing. He built a monolithic company out of, he saw a market need. He saw that there was a particular demographic of people, most of whom who don't work. These are not high-skilled, high-earning type folk. But they do click, they're susceptible to clickbait. And clicks is how you get paid in the social media world. There's no way to know if these people work or not, if they're actually going to buy the products that you're trying to sell them. You just need the clicks. You just need to show that you're influencing. So he saw that there was a demographic of people that he could continue to just fearmonger with. Like I said, you go onto the Young Turks YouTube page and click on videos, and it's just all the videos that they've ever made. And just just look at the titles. Racist this, Islamophobic that, right-wing scary this, racist. Like who does that? Well, it's actually very reasonable if you know what you're doing. He knows that there's a very weak segment of our population that if you just keep telling them that they're the victim, the people that have the stronger people are actually demons who are attacking you, and that's why you're weak. Like there is a segment there, and they're large in number. They're not a large percentage, but it's a lot of people. I mean, there's 340 million people in the United States, for crying out loud. He knows what he's doing. So what he does in this particular thing, he's getting cucked by Don Lemon. Don Lemon just totally screwed himself, and he made liberals watch, right? So now Chunk Yogurt is watching Don Lemon screw the pooch. And he knows what he's saying. He knows that what Don Lemon said was absolutely abhorrent. We need to stop demonizing people. Okay, Don Lemon, everybody's shaking their head yes to that. We all agree to that. We shouldn't be demonizing people. Therefore, I propose we start demonizing, we step on the gas when it comes to demonizing white people. All right, well, you just, hey, I don't mean to be racist, but I don't mean to be offensive, but listen, it's not about the money. It's like rhetoric. Hey, we need to stop demonizing people, but man, these white people got to go. Chunk Yogurt knows that. So what does he do? He starts off his thing because he has an audience, right? He has an audience, and it's, it says millions of subscribers on his YouTube page, but if you look at the actual numbers of people that watch his videos, best I can tell, it's maybe 110,000 people. He has an audience that he knows, like, he cannot give in. He can't come out on what Don Lemon said and just say, dude, that's wrong, you shouldn't say that, right? I'm a big Trump fan. I wasn't to begin with, but I am now completely on board the Trump train, right? I love this guy. I think he's great. I think he's the best president in my lifetime. Possibly will go down as one of the greatest presidents who ever lived. I honestly believe that. Right now, right? And at the same time, there are things that Donald Trump has said where, like, if he says something like that in the future, I will come out and say, yeah, he probably shouldn't have said that. Like, that's bad, right? But, you know what I mean? Because I'm objective. I'm not beholden to an ideology. It's like, my ideology is I want Americans to prosper. I could not be happier that black unemployment is the lowest in history right now. Latino unemployment is the lowest in history. Overall unemployment is the lowest it's been in, like, what, since the 60s or something like that? Like, gross domestic product is kicking ass, like everything's good right now. I'm happy about that. If Donald Trump comes out and says something horrific, I'm going to call him out. I'm going to say, yeah, that's stupid. You shouldn't say that. Because I know that I have an audience, and like, if Donald Trump says something stupid, I want you to hold your politicians accountable. If Tucker Carlson says something stupid, I will call him out for it because I want you to be objective. I want you to hear it from my perspective because, I'm just enough of a narcissist to believe that my perspective is unique and important, just like yours, And this is the thing. This is the cuckold that leftists have, is like, even when they see Don Lemon, a butt pirate, a fudge packer, a pillow muncher, has a white boyfriend, the dude that he lets put his ding dong in his butthole is white. So he comes out and says, we have to stop demonizing people. White people are demons. And Chunk Yogurt has just no objective, sir, you have no objective truth to say about this. It's okay, Chunk. You can come out and say, hey, Don Lemon said something really stupid last night. Here, I'll tell you what, Chunk. Watch the New Year's Eve special with Don Lemon this year. This is one of the most bizarre. It's one of the most bizarre things. One of the most bizarre things is Brian Williams has a job again telling people what the news is. Do you remember why he had to go away for a little while? Because he lied. He got caught telling a big fat lie to everyone, and he had to go. Well, he's back. Because people's attention span is that of a goldfish. They forgot. This man's a liar. Right? It's like that old dude that the Young Turks hired from back in the day. What was that guy's name? Oh, shoot. I don't see him on the Young Turks anymore, but, it's like, dude, the Young Turks hired you? Did America forget that guy got fired from a liberal news network, NBC, for lying about President Bush? He got fired for lying. Brian Williams got fired for lying. He's back. But another very bizarre thing that I was trying to get to and failed, but here we are. On New Year's Eve every year, CNN has Don Lemon go out to the celebration there in New York City. And he gets blackout drunk. Okay, now think about this, right? If you're in, if you are a personality, like a television, if you're somebody that has to be on TV all the time, like I've told you guys before, I'm a big fan of the Jim Rome show, right? Jim Rome is always saying, because people write into him and they say, why won't you do a show drunk one time? I think that would be very interesting. And he always has the same answer. He always says, no, I will not do that. And you want to know why? It's because I like my job. If I get drunk on this show, it's going to be a bad show and I'm probably going to lose my job and I make millions of dollars a year. There's no way I'm going to sacrifice that. However, what people don't know is Jim Rome actually did get drunk one day on the show. It was an episode where he was racing it was during the horse racing season, and one of his horses was racing, and so he did his show from that venue. And although he didn't say it out loud, there were some things going on in the background that if you listened really closely, you could hear. He had himself a martini, and then the show went horribly south. It was really bad. Like on this podcast, I don't have nearly the audience of Jim Rome or anybody else for that matter, but I cannot. I tried to record a segment one time after I had one beer, and I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't keep my train of thought. It's very hard to have a stream of conscious, and like say what's on your mind and be smart and sound smart and all that stuff. You can't do that if you've got poison in your system. Don Lemon goes on TV once a year and gets shitty. I mean, he gets soused. I mean, he gets swilled. I mean, he gets plastered on television. And it is a complete horror show. This very gay dude, like on one year, he was on TV, on television, blackout drunk, with his nipple out, getting it pierced. That's how drunk he was. It like, cuckoo, cuckoo. This is who this guy is, right? He's a guy that gets his fudge packed. He's a guy that is allowed to get blackout drunk on TV on New Year's Eve by CNN. He gets paid by CNN to do this. Like they're not being caught unaware. No, this is the show. Once a year they have the Don Lemon Gets Drunk on TV show, and he acts like a complete animal. And it's like, again, Brian Williams has a job again. Don Lemon has a job. Don Lemon, just a week ago, was calling Kanye West, and by the way, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to this or not, but a week ago, Kanye West was calling Kanye West racial slurs that begin with the letter N. Like crazy. It's like, how does this guy have a job? This guy who gets drunk on TV once a year and gets his nipple pierced and acts a fool. This guy who goes on TV and says, listen, we got to stop demonizing people. Hold on a second. Glug, 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 glug. White people are the devil. And then Chunk Yogurt comes on with his Young Turds fans and says, listen, everybody, we're going to have to get the right-wingers a safe space on this because they're going nuts over this. The right-wingers are such snowflakes. Am I right, guys? Am I right? They're such snow. They need a safe space. Chunk, we don't need a safe space. We all see what's happening here. This is why you're going to lose next Tuesday. This is why you're going to lose. You think because your 100,000 people that watch you represents the majority of American people? No. No, the majority of the American people have spoken, and that's why CNN's numbers are so bad. The American people have spoken. That's why you have on your YouTube channel, you have what, 4 million? Actually, here, let me look it up. I beg your pardon, you guys. I should have pulled this up, but let's go on to the Young Turks. Let's go to the Young Turks. And the Young Turks have 4.2 million subscribers. Sounds impressive, right? Couple of things on that. Let's go through the numbers here really quick. Now, I'm looking at their last 16 videos. 114,000, 224,000, 316,000, 153,000, 154,000, 7,000, 728,000. Okay, so that's the winner so far. 728,000 people. 300. Oh, but wait a minute. Caveat to that. That was the Tucker Carlson debate. So theoretically, those could have been Tucker Carlson fans. So let's go back. Let's go back to the second highest number. What was it? 316,000, 77,000, 159,000, 358,000 on the Kanye West one. So, Trump, and the title of that is "Trump Just Lost His Black Friend." So the big number is 358,000. There's a bunch in here, from this week or from yesterday, 31,000. So about 380,000 that's the big number. You go through here, okay, 400. No, I'm sorry, that's 46,000. I almost said 460,000. 17,000, 32,000, 67,000, 44,000, 24,000, 23,000 consistently. Consistently. Their numbers of views is under 100,000. There's a couple in there that are, there's one for 358,000, that's the Kanye West one. And there's the other one, but that's Tucker Carlson, that was 728,000. There's a pretty good chance, because there's okay, the big number on the Young Turks is 728,000 views, right? There's no other video that's even half as much as that. Not one. So that would tell you that there must be something different about that particular video, right? The Young Turks have 4 million subscribers, 4.2 million subscribers, and yet they struggle to get over 100,000 views. You can see it for yourself. 153,000, 316,000, 224,000, 114,000, 154,000, 94,000, 7,500. 728,000, that's the Tucker Carlson one. 159,000, 77,000, 43,000. From last night, 31,000, 17,000, 17,000, and 39,000. The Young Turks do not have a following that is representative of like a majority. They have 4.2 million viewers, and yet they don't have 4.2 million views per episode, right? So the views per episode versus the number of subscribers that you have, it tells you something, doesn't it? It tells you a bunch of things. Look, Chunk Yogurt has a responsibility to push a narrative and to manipulate people, to keep the fear going, to keep people feeling like a victim. Right? The thing about this, the evil in this is that to a certain degree, we're all being cucked. We're all being, our country is getting screwed and we're all being forced to watch. You see what I'm saying? That's being cuckolded. And it's disgusting, and it needs to stop. Right? Don Lemon going on TV and saying we need to stop demonizing people, and in the same breath, says that white people are the terrorists. Let's demonize white people. Same breath. Right? When you keep being told, like, oh no, you can't say anything about radical Muslims in America because there's good Muslims. Of course there's good Muslims. Of course there's good Muslims. Some of them are my friends. I have dear friends who I would gladly die for, who are Muslims. And not American Muslims either. Jordanian, Turkish, and Saudi. They're good people. They're my friends. You know what I mean? There's also Muslims in America who were just caught running a terrorist training camp to with the end goal of committing a school shooting. That happened in America. When I point that out and somebody runs up to me and says, that's Islamophobic, it's like, dude, you're trying to screw my country and you're trying to make me watch. Fuck you. And I'm not going to sit here and watch you try to screw my country and try to manipulate these 100, 200, maybe 350,000 people who watch your views or watch your shows. Right? It's sickening, and you're screwing people. You're an evil person. And you're purposely misrepresenting what happened. Chunk, you can have the balls to stand up to Don Lemon. Don Lemon is a fruit. Right? His last name is Lemon. He's a fruit. He's a poof. You can get on TV, get on YouTube or whatever, however it is that you want to refer to it. You can come onto my screen and say, Don Lemon said something really stupid today. Because your listeners need to hear that that's stupid. And it's irresponsible. And the fact that that guy has a job and Brian Williams has a job is a slap in the face to the media. And it's a slap in the face of all of us, because it's like, dude, we didn't forget. We didn't forget that Brian Williams lied about having rockets shot at him in a helicopter. We didn't forget that. The man's a liar. Right? Not that that's a very big problem, but it's like, when you are responsible to tell us the truth, you can't have a big fat lie on your record. When you used your platform to tell us the truth to instead tell us a lie, you can't do that. So anyways, that's the show for today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Tune in tomorrow. If you want to support the show, you can go on to archadvocate.com. Arch-advocate.com if you want to become a Patreon member, a patron. Send a couple of bucks my way every month on Patreon. Or if you just want to send some dough, like Sven from Poland. He's not from Poland. He just lives in Poland. He sent me 20 bucks yesterday. Thanks for that, man. Appreciate you. If you want to do that, you can do that on PayPal, archadvocate.com. Hope you guys tune in tomorrow. And I hope you guys aren't too busy, puking from all that candy that you ate last night. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you tomorrow.